Beau Baty, I'm here to pitch your tents because you're too modest to pitch your tents. You okay with that?
I'm good.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Let's show them what's it about. Okay.
All right. But before we talk about his tents, I've been sleeping in this tent for what, 5 nights now?
Yep.
And I got enough sleep up here at 8,500 feet in Wyoming that even an old fart like me killed an out here. And naturally, we're back here with Beau's llamas, but the new Wilderness Ridge Trail Llama tents are ready on your website.
On the website.
All right. So now this is where we're going to get into the specifications because I'm going to screw it up if I say it.
Okay.
The one thing I know is there's a tag on it that says Made in USA.
And?
It says Wilderness Ridge Trail Llamas, link below.
And Snow Trekker.
And the Snow Trekker. But you're telling me all the patented things about this.
This is a patented fabric that Snow Trekker developed. And the design and all the unions, and you know, as many patents to put this thing together. Yeah. And working hand in hand with Snow Trekker is really helpful. They're a great company. Everything's American made, and they've been in business for a long time. And I brought my idea to other manufacturers, and they just wouldn't pick it up. So I just started sewing tents on my own and went through multiple different models. And the first 3 were like circus tents, so I just tossed those. And it's just been a long process. Yeah. And we finally got it. And so we're calling them Wilderness Ridge Trail Llamas tents. This is the Divide series. And I spent most of my 20s hiking the Continental Divide in different sections with my llamas. And the wind blows up there so hard that that's where I started coming up with the idea there has to be a better tent that's more packable, lighter weight, 4-season, breathable material that can withstand the wind. Yeah. And so if you can withstand the wind on the Continental Divide, that's what I call it, the Divide series tents, then you know, pass the test. And one of the biggest, you know, strongest frames or structures in the wild, you know, is a wedge or a triangle. And so sticking with the A-frame where there's no pole in the center, and then you have a free span. So when you walk in there, there's nothing, you know, obstructing you setting up your cots or your sleeping pads or your tent, you know, your space in there. And so that's one of my favorite features is this, it's open. Yeah. When you go in, it's open. You can set it up however you want. Yeah,
I mean, me and long-legged Mike have been in here for 5 nights. And we're not real shorties, and we got a lot of junk. It doesn't look as bad in there right now. We cleaned it up a little bit before we started talking about this. But we could fit another person in here.
You could fit another person on, and these are full-size cots that we're running. And you could fit a 3 full-size cots. I think you can easily put 4 people on sleeping pads, plus the stove and your gear and wood for 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah. And so whole thing with the stove, what's it weigh?
The whole thing with the stove is 36 pounds, and this is with the Riley flapjack stove. Yeah. And one thing that people, I think, over the last year of selling tents is they don't realize is this frame is included in the weight. Yeah. The stakes are included in the weight, and everything breaks down to 24 inches. So for horse packers and llama packers, it breaks down so short that you can put it inside of your panniers. This tent was designed to go on one side of one llama and still have weight to spare. Yeah. So the tent, stove, and floor will all go on one side of one llama, and you still have roughly 5 pounds to max out your llama on that side. And so, and our smaller tent, is even more capable. It's even smaller dimensionally. Yeah. And so, we just want it to be simple, and setting them up really fast is nice. You pull up to a trailhead and see people camping there for the night, and you set your tent up, and they got there before you and setting their tent up after you, and it's a traditional style wall tent, and you're like, you get all the space and comfort and dimension, but it's a lightweight tent. You can lift everything in one arm. And you see those guys, and they're like, okay, hey, all of you guys come help me with this wall tent, because they're so heavy. Yeah. And so you can set this up without the frame. It's designed to do that, but truly, the frame is so light. Yeah. And so useful. Yeah. Why would you not? Yeah. And so
the way the frame fits, it goes into all those reinforcement areas.
Yep.
And makes it really strong.
Makes it really strong. And this tent's easy for one person to set up by yourself. And you set the frame up, and then there's a tensioner that also serves as your drying rack. And once you put that together, your frame is set. And you put the canvas canopy up and over, and away you go.
All right, folks. Marcus, who's filming this, says, Randy, let's go film your backcountry crib. I'm not sure what that, you know what that means, Bo?
Yeah, it means house. You know,
House?
like your spot, your pad.
Oh, I was going to call it my hut, but let's go check this out so you can show me every little thing about this. I'm going to tell you, though, it's a mess because me and Mike have been living in here for a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Backcountry cribs, baby.
So what's the deal with this floor? You got it's zips like this.
Yep. So we have a zip out. The floor is removable. You don't have to take the floor. All of our tents are sold in a package, so you get the floor with it. It zips out. And one of my frustrations over the years is people didn't have a zip out for the floor, or they had a cutout, so you didn't have the option of ever having a full floor. And then if you did have a zip out, it was too small. And so you ended up burning it. Yeah. And so this one allows you the opportunity to fold it back, bring it all the way forward, or whatever. So a big zip out was a key component for us. And then the floor ties in at these spots right here. And we've got grommets tied into the floor. Now you can tie these in, or we have a toggle tab that you can put into it. I prefer the tie-in, personally. I think it's just quicker and faster. Yeah. And then you'll see down here, we have a webbing pocket, so the bottom of the floor, or the frame, goes into these pockets.
Reinforcement?
It's a reinforcement, and then it also allows you to have the tent set up perfectly square. And so a lot of people don't know, it's like, okay, well, how wide should we bring out these legs? Right. And so that, coupled with our unions back here,
these orange things,
allows you to have the perfect pitch every single time. Which is,
let me move my stinky socks.
Your Kenetrek socks up there. So these unions allow the perfect pitch with those pockets.
Which follows the seam.
Which follows the seam.
Joins in the pocket.
Which joins in the pocket.
And then this is a tensioner?
This is a tensioner to keep your frame tight when you're setting it up by yourself.
Okay.
But then the second purpose, and maybe it's more true and full purpose, is as a drying rack. Yeah. Or to hang any kind of lighting that you would like.
Because when I stand up here at night when the stove is running, it's a lot warmer up here than right down there on the floor. Yep. So that's why I had my
socks
up there.
Yep. So. Yeah, and being able to dry stuff out is just paramount to me.
So, what'd you say this is? 11 by 11?
11 by 11.
Cool.
11 by 11.
Comes with the stove, or you got to buy the stove separate?
It does not come with a stove. You got to buy the stove separate. And then we have a vertical stove jack, and then we have a stove jack cover. And this model comes with a standard 4-inch stove jack. We also can do 5, 6, or 7 inches. There's some old school guys that do 7-inch ones. Ooh. And then
what's that, a vent?
These are vents, and you can put the vent inside or outside. You can bring it inside and tie it off to close it up if you'd like. Pretty simple, and you can poke that out if you want. So the vents end up being really nice in different weather conditions. You know, it's like, well, why is the tent? Right. Why is it humid today? And right. So the vents end up being really nice if you're too hot, too cold. One on each end, so you have proper flow. And then obviously we pitch the tent. We have vertical stays and horizontal stays that pitch our tent outwardly. Let's see the landscaping, the curb appeal of this. So these are, we have a horizontal support with a vertical stay, and this allows your wall to have all of its strength. Yeah. And so this allows when the snow comes to peel off of this, but then allows it strength when the wind hits it. Right. And then allows all your moisture to come and slip off of it. And so being able to pull the sides tight is just paramount.
For wind, absolutely.
And then you have no wind flap, you sleep well, and then all your moisture and snow will slide off very quickly. Yeah. And that also allows you more usable space on the inside of the tent. Right. And without it, you just have a wedge, and you have that sidewall. Right.
So if you didn't have this, you'd come down.
You'd come down, like way into there.
And whoever's sleeping against the wall would be right up against it.
Yeah, and this thing can pitch that tight if you wanted it to.
Wow.
You know.
And just adjust it there.
Yep, and you just adjust it here.
Wow.
So she was a little.
And you got that on all 3 sides.
Yep, and the back. Now the unique thing about the back is that you'll see your horizontal support, but it doesn't have any vertical stay. And the reason is because this short wall doesn't need to come out as far. But then what happens is when you have snow and stuff hit this, this will bounce off and just allow all that material to fall down quickly. And so because you don't need to pull out this wall, because it's already vertical, we'll only pull out this little bit, and there's no vertical one in the back. So you'll notice if you go on the inside of the tent, at each of the stake points we have reinforcements. And the reason is because people want to pull up on the webbing to pull their stakes out.
Oh.
And so what we've done is we went and reinforced all those. And we have our vertical front stays. You'll know there's no horizontal one. And this just allows the right pitch to be able to run a vertical stove jack.
Okay.
To run a vertical stove jack on a wedge design is actually the engineering of it's pretty complex to get it right so that it doesn't burn and that you can have the right placement of the stove. So we've learned over burning a few tents that you have to have this and you have to have that in the right spot.
One on each side.
One on each side. And a lot of people want to set them up and they want to spread them outwardly. But really you want to set them perfectly straight or just slightly inward. And then you can tie your door shut. And we allow people to buy accessories. And then you zip, and you'll notice that you have basically a lip here that you got to step over. And the reason is it's just for weatherproofing.
Okay.
It just allows that one extra layer of weatherproofing for when you do have snow levels, right? Yeah. And then your door is a number 10 YKK zipper, and you'll see your solid cloth, and that's going to go and have double protection over your door, which is your weakest point of your tent and the spot where most of your moisture wants to get trapped or enter into your tent. And then this will pull over if you ever need it to, and away you go. And then you have top and a bottom zipper if you just want to peek in.
Or peek out.
Or peek out.
See if there's a grizzly bear out there.
Yeah. And the doors you do have to duck in slightly, but we did that to be able to have the proper ventilation.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can buy add-ons to these. They all come with Velcro on the side, so you can add a bug door, a screen door. We don't really use our tents in buggy areas in the summer as much, and so it's not something we sell with the tents, but there's add-ons that you can add to them. Anyway, so that's kind of a quick overview of the tents, and our website has all the the true specs of everything, so people can take a look at it. And people say, well, they're really expensive. I'm like, well, you pay for what you get. You're getting a premium product that's been tested, and they're all handmade in America. Yeah. They're not made overseas. Yeah. We didn't cut any corners. Every piece of the tent is American made. Yeah. And we have a 3-year guarantee on the tents. If anything breaks or rips or tears, just send it in, and we'll pay the shipping and fix it. Yeah. And it's easy to have a good guarantee because you don't have to fix very many things.
Yeah, well, you get what you pay for in life.
I agree.
I'm getting old and gray, and if that's one lesson I've learned, the cheap route usually isn't the best route.
Yeah.
There's a reason that a tent like this of this quality is the price it is.
Yeah.
So.
And people, I understand spending a couple $1,000+ on a tent's a big investment, and that's why we let people rent them. If they're not for sure if this size is going to work or if it's applicable for their lifestyle, they could just rent one. Yeah. And 9 out of 10 people that have rented this year have ended up buying one. Yeah. And so it's been a good route for them to actually see it firsthand before they put the cost into it.
And it shows that you're more than confident in it. If you're like, well, go rent it. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And what's happened is a lot of people have tried this model, rented it, and they're like, you know what, I think I want the slightly bigger or I want the slightly smaller. Yeah. So it's been a good avenue for people. Yeah. Try before you buy. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in that in the llamas. If you don't, try them before you buy them. And decide if you like them before you spend the money.
Well, folks, go to the link below. Check out everything related to these tents. Like I said, Beau's too modest to be the pitch man. But I am that impressed with these tents that I'm going to go out of my way to be your pitch man.
I appreciate it. You've always been great to help us out, and I'm glad that you tested them out last year. Yeah. I didn't ask him to say anything about the tents. I said, just try them out. Yeah. See what you think. And I
did an entire goat camp in the mountains of Montana in it.
Yeah,
it was cold.
It was cold.
And it snowed.
And it snowed.
I didn't get wet.
Icy cold.
I didn't get cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you getting an honest shake all last season. Thank you.
For sure. Go do it, folks. Check them out. WildernessRidgeTrailLlama.com. Thanks, Beau.
Thanks, buddy.